Choose Hibs. Choose spending years and years and years in our shadow. Choose ignoring the facts, then losing your shit when realisation finally sinks in. Choose having 4 or 5 years to establish yourself as Edinburgh's big team and fucking it up. Choose your season derby highlight reel. Such highs as, mind that time we sang Under a Bridge? And who can forget the classic? Never heard them at Hampden. Choose to cry about 50-50 ticket splits, then struggle to sell 14,000 tickets. Heart sold more tickets for a Cali Thistle game we couldn't even fucking attend. Choose to go 1-0 up in the derby, spend 40 minutes singing about Andy Halliday, only for him to score 2 and win the fucking thing. Choose the same derby to sing about your own manager, the same manager you fucking sacked. Choose Chris Moore, the American Joey Essex. The cunts one derby defeat away from joining a flash mob on Princess Street to reveal the gender of his fucking owl. You'd get more sense out of Bobby Boucher. Today, stupid. Choose Sean Maloney. Choose to chase the galaxy on Orion's belt, you Men in Black looking cunt. Choose not being able to ride the Pepsi Max. Choose to then get upset and cry it's pathetic to slag his height. You're right, it is pathetic. It's as pathetic as not being able to ride the Helter Skelter, the Dodgems, the Flumes at the Time Capsule, the Teacups, and needing a booster seat to ride the Peppa Pig car outside Tesco. Choose to pin your hopes on Elsa from fucking Frozen. Choose Sean Maloney, Jack Ross, Paul Heckenbottom, Pat Fenlon, Neil Lennon, Terry Butcher, and we'll scud the fucking lot of them. Choose this season, of all seasons, to have this as our city as your slogan. Then choose to win no derbies. Choose to finish in the bottom 6. Choose to get pumped at Hampden again. Get it up, every single one of you mutant fucks. Ando, play the music!
Yeah!
Alright boys, how was done?
Marvellous.
Very good, mate. Very good.
Yes! Right on them, every fucking one of them. Yes!
Forgot where my camera was there, but aye, there you go, that's for you.
Yes! That's it. Thanks for listening. See you next week.
Fuck it, next season. There's
Ruined
nothing else to
everyone.
talk about.
Well, we'll do a cup winning special, won't we?
Mm.
I'd imagine
Course,
live for the victory parade or something.
Fine, aye.
Jesus.
Oh well, fun and games. I'm sure this will be a quiet, peaceful podcast, I'll imagine. Ando, how's your week been?
Absolutely superb from start to finish. Not a single thing has fucking went wrong. And I've been loving life since I don't know, since I woke up on Saturday morning. Everything has been perfection itself.
Well, we're on Tuesday now, innit? But we've had a good couple of days, haven't we? We've had a good wee while. We've been pretty. I like that we've kept it respectful. We've been low key on Twitter. We've just, we've just kept our opinions to ourselves. One with dignity, one with grace, and we move on because that's what Heart of Midlothian Football Club's all about, isn't it?
Oh, of course.
You can't beat it. Tam, what you been up to?
Low point for me, I missed the game, obviously. I was at a wedding with a bunch of highways, so that made it a much more pleasurable night getting it up them. So, but aye, you boys seem to have fun, and my phone's no stop because I need to log out of the Twitter because you broke Twitter at one point and everything. It was great.
It was fun. And I like how you said you got it up them, meaning that you never said a single thing to them and probably sat and never even slagged them because you're too much of a shite bag.
See, like golfing events and that, just a slight clap. That was me.
Yeah. A dignified, well done. Well, that to be fair, if you listen to Hibs fans, the fucking 11,000 in them that could have been bothered to show up on Saturday, that's what we did anyway. Apparently, we all just shook hands when Hearts scored and went home and polished our Rovers and our Volvos, wasn't it? That's what one of them said because we all wear cardigans. But there we go. We'll come on to Hibernian
Doffed your cap.
Aye, we'll go. We will absolutely cover Hibernian and their myths and their comfort blankets that for a few seasons they had in the cupboard but are firmly out and in place now. Kev, how's your week?
Week has been it's been tremendous. I met you guys. I met yourself, Corbett, outside Hampden on Saturday afternoon. We dealt with a flag issue, made our way inside the stadium, and then I literally got the fuck out of your way because I wasn't sitting anywhere near you.
Yep, and it is a shame that the friendships had to go that way, but until we lose, we will never see each other inside the stadium ever again.
Yep, exactly that.
but I'm happy. I'm happy to say I've never been fucking happier to be away from you. Brad, what's been happening?
I'm only just realising how much of an insufferable bastard I am when Hearts win. I used to think I was quite humble, but today was a total game changer when your colleagues, Hibs supporting colleagues, come in, and I just turned into the worst boy ever, blaring that "Following the Sun" song just constantly from the computer the whole day on repeat. Honestly, I've had the time of my life today. It's been brilliant.
Two-footing Waynes and PE, being like, that's what you get your Hibs for Barry Mackay. Take that, two-footing them. Absolute toe banging them for 30 yards down the Ellis Sim, getting it right up them.
Right past the wee first years.
Well, to be fair, we'll come on to talk about the game. I'm not sure how much you've seen it, because obviously in this podcast we'll have to take turns each of babysitting Shanks, and I believe that you were up first on Saturday. I liked it. Like I said, I turned to my dad about, I don't know, maybe 25 minutes into the game and went, where the fuck is Shanks? And then only for Shanks to come back in at about 55th minute and was like, I've been on the other side. I said, well, what? He's like, they wouldn't let me through. I said, we've been in B4 the whole time. How did you end up the other side of the barrier? But there we go. Was that fun for you?
Aye. Let's say aye.
Let's say aye. We might as well. We're in a celebratory mood. Let's say aye.
I'm sure he was running about with a green flare at one point. I don't know where the fuck he went.
Aye, well, he did have fucking green smoke bomb paint all over his shoes, his Air Force Ones or whatever they're called. I did ask what he was up to, but you never know with that guy.
Yeah,
you never
actually,
know.
Given the fucking nick him the last time I seen on Saturday, like he could still be fucking running about with a green flare outside Hendon right now. I've got no idea.
Just waiting for us. He'll be there until the 21st of May. Just sitting in the Hearts end, which will become the Rangers end, which we'll talk about. But aye, cool. Well, welcome back.
You really need to kill that fly, man.
Mate, stay my head in. Can you see it?
Aye.
Stay my absolute nutting. This could be an interesting episode, innit?
It's going to be the deodorant can and the lighter out in a minute, just torching the thing. The whole fucking house ends up in flames on account of one fly.
It's over there. It can stay over there. Nothing can ruin this. Nothing can ruin this moment for us, can it? Welcome back to This Is My Story, your unofficial Hearts podcast. As we say all weeks, and as you'll fucking know by now, our opinions are absolutely miles off it, but they are our own. So today we'll just talk about what was the glorious Scottish Cup semi-final victory over Hibernian on Saturday. We are now into our third Scottish Cup final in the last 4 years. We'll discuss the 2-1 victory from Saturday. We'll talk about crowds. We'll talk about atmosphere. We'll talk about probably two of the best cup goals probably I've ever seen Hearts score. Superb. A few what might have been. Like I said, there's a few myths, and if Manty had Boz kicking about in Hibs Twitter, we'll talk about that. We will fucking make it rain with European money and just how absolutely loaded we are now. We'll have a Kevin McKenna as his players. We'll have a Tam down. We'll laugh at Sean Maloney getting his jotters as we record right now. Discuss where it went wrong for the small man. And just fucking get it up as many Hibs folk as we possibly can.
This could be a 6-hour episode.
Yeah, quite happily. quite happily. Right, let's start where are we, Kevin? Let's dampen the mood. Kev, he's a Kevin McKenna player.
How can you ruin it for us?
Exactly. How
let's
can
suck
I
the
ruin
life
it
out a wee bit. Let's hear about a player from 1973 and see if we can tell you who it is.
Not you don't have to go back that far for the two Kevin McKennas for this week. Firstly, 4 goals for this combative midfielder, 3 red cards across his 3 seasons, 119 appearances in total. And that flies going about your head again, Corbett. And his father also played for the club. So that's your first one. And your second one for today, 31-year-old player who recently celebrated his birthday. 25 league goals across his 58 league appearances. Has scored 1 hat-trick in this time and scored on his debut. All stats taken from London Hearts. Thanks so much, boys. Although I don't think you've updated it for a few weeks.
All right, was that a dig, was it? All right. I'm sure they've got better things to do with their time, Kev, than potentially you one day doing a quiz. Right. There we go. Thanks for that. So, London Hearts, fucking finger it. Disgrace. Right.
Just come to Ando for your stats instead. It's fine.
Right. Let's do a tam down as well. Kev, have you got it this week, too?
I have, aye.
Will be a 6-hour episode then. Fuck me, man.
So, hands in the air, gents. Here we go. All good. So, this week's tam down. Since last beating Hibs in a Scottish Cup semi-final attended by fans, thought you like that, Corbett, Hearts have had 15 European goal scorers. Your aim is simply to name all 15.
Oh.
So, 15 goal scorers since lifting the trophy against Gretna in 2006 after beating Hibs 4-0, I believe, was the scoreline in that particular semi-final. And the 15 players are, we'll start with Brad.
Temps.
Yep, Temps with his one goal against Liverpool.
Did they actually credit that to him? Because that's the most generous creditation of a goal ever.
Yeah, the keeper in the world was saving that.
Nah, that's true, mate. True.
Limbs incredible. Ando?
I will go for... What's the time frame again?
So 2006,
2006.
mate. Get the other hand raised.
Connor Salmon.
Oh, you motherfucker.
Nice.
That was where I was going.
Well done, Ando. Corbett?
Solius Mikulinis.
Solius Mikulinis. Correct. Tam? Panicking already.
I'm panicking, man. Three that have kind of been said there. I was thinking. Try to think the games after 2006, like that first season.
Okay.
Bednar score?
Bednar. Yes, you are correct, Tam. 1 point. Back round to you, Brads.
I just stole my answer, bastard. Right. Again, I'm trying to think here. Can I count own goals? Do they count?
No.
Generally not.
Good try, though.
Webster.
Andy Webster. Well, Andy Webster wasn't there in 2006 or after 2006, mate. So
no. Yeah, I was. I'm going to go with. Did Zal get one?
Zal did.
Yeah.
Zal got one against Dino Zagreb. Ando.
You just put me off my answer.
Yes.
Really
Can't remember
sketchy.
Rudolph has scored as well. Scored one goal. Corbett.
I'll go with a left fielder just to see. Neil McCann.
Neil McCann, no. Sorry to say, Corbett.
He definitely played in that top, though. That Hummel top that
He did, but he didn't
Mikulinis
score.
scored in.
Did score in that particular, and that's his second stint with the club. Tam?
Stevenson?
Ryan Stevenson. 2 goals for Ryan Stevenson. Both against Paxi. There you go. Back to yourself, Brad.
Walker?
Jamie Walker, no.
Oh.
Unlucky, mate. Unlucky. Ando?
Andy Driver scored in the same game as Ryan Stevo.
Yep. Andy Driver got one against Paxi as well. Takes you into the lead, Ando. Back to Corbett.
I'm just going to guess random folk. Meditao.
No. He's a good shout, though, mate. Tam?
I'll stick with the same theory and just go Ibrahim Tal.
Oh, Tam has pulled one out the bag, which makes a fucking change. Yep. Abraham Tal.
Is it like Prague or something?
Soronki Briage.
All right.
All right. Don't even know who that is, man.
Exactly. Brad?
Bless you.
If we're just going with random boys for that time, Jose Goncalves?
Jose Goncalves, no, mate. Sorry to say. Ando?
Was that the team? I can't remember exactly what their name is, but they were the name of like a thingy company, like a broadband company or something. Igor Rossi.
Igor Rossi, yes, you're
He's scored
correct.
against them.
Infinite,
or
something they were
something
called,
like that.
Infinite Talon.
Aye, that
There
was
we
it.
go. Right.
So yes, Igor Rossi, putting you 4 points. Ando?
Kev, I am going to reach down there because I'm getting more drink. All right. So
I'm going to keep on my stabs in the dark and say Perry Kitchen.
You are stabbing in the dark, but Perry did not.
I'm just trying to think of those random players that played in those games against fucking BT Internet.
Aye, you're on the right lines, mate. But Perry Kitchen was not one of them.
We know one like 5-0 or something like that.
Aye, we did. Back to Tam.
Chapping a bit now. I know Jamie Moore led the line, so I'm going to say him. I know he didn't score, but
definitely not, mate. You are 100% right. You're 100% right. Brad's?
Patterson got a goal?
Patterson got a goal, yes. Patterson got his goal against Talon, that's right.
Is there any other goal scorers to that Talon game?
Yep, there's one, two...
One more, I think I've got it.
There's two more scorers against Talon, and you've got 1, 2, 3, 4 scorers to get. So,
Ando.
Ozturk.
Aleem Ozturk, yes. Corbett?
Right, now are we back? Now we just got 2006 players left.
No, you've got one player from 2016, one from 2012, and one from 2009.
Did Jankowski score in Europe for us?
No, he didn't. Tam?
Jamie Hamill.
Jamie Hamill. Well played, Tam.
Gotcha.
Jamie Hamill
I just
scored
thinking like
against
penalty takers or something.
Scored against Paxi. So 2 remaining. I can tell you that 1 scored against Infinite and 1 scored against Zagreb. And it is back to you, Brad.
Was it Infinite one Juanma?
No. Ando?
Struggling here. Am I in the lead by a comfortable enough margin?
Yes, you are, mate.
Right, so can I chap this round? And
Certainly can, mate.
Is the score? There was a scorer against Zagreb. There's one outstanding against Zagreb,
And 1 against Talon.
and one of them. Fuck. Right, if we're going to cut this in case I get it wrong. Someone's already said Zal.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right. Okay, I think I know who the other one is.
Okay.
But I'm not sure if he's been said or not. Mikey Stewart.
Mikey Stewart. Scored against Zagreb.
Yeah, sir.
And 1 to go. And he's the one that Corbett usually picks. Scored against Talon.
I don't know. Fuck it. Don Cowie.
It was so fucking stupid.
Pardon me.
Sam Nicholson.
Nope. Right, Tam, tell him who it is.
Did you say Brad's tell him who it is? Yeah, go Brad. Go.
Whoever put this fly in here is one because it's fucking distracted me massively.
Ando sent it up after the weekend. Brad, do you ken the last one?
Is it who Corbett usually says?
Yes.
Goncalves.
Is it Goncalves or Carrick?
Nope.
Novak.
And do you want to know the last player on the
Watt.
list?
Tony Watt.
Nope. Your last player to score
Muirhead.
in the other goal against Infinite Talon was Prince Wabin.
Jobbies.
Had they been here tonight, so I get that.
Jobbies.
So, scores on the boards. Ando with 6, Brad's with 3, Tam with 3, Corbett with 1.
I'm sure I got more than 3 there, but that's fine.
No, you didn't.
No, you didn't.
So,
It's just what you usually do at the end of the time.
exactly, mate. You just got to question it, 100%.
Right, that's all the foreplay out the way. Let's get right into the absolute fucking Hibs. Let's get into it.
Yes.
Scottish Cup finalists, the 21st of May, back to Hampden, courtesy of an Ellis Sim absolute thunderbolt and a Stephen Kingsley peach. Goal of the season. Nobody can argue us. That was an absolute belter. Every angle you see it, it gets better and better and better. So, brilliant, wasn't it? Anybody want to talk about it? Tell us about your day. Get torn into them. Anything that caught your eye, made you laugh, made you cry?
So many things from across the day, really. I think every single bit of the day, from start to finish, was absolutely outstanding. But I suppose the best bit for me was seeing the net bulge from Stephen Kingsley's second goal. The Hearts' second goal, his free kick, absolutely unbelievable. Like, Corbett, 1 minute you were standing on my left shoulder, the next minute you were about 15 yards in front of me and 10 yards above me, or 10 feet above me, I should say.
Aye.
It was absolute sheer bedlam. And again, we're not going to talk negatives. I know Hibs got a goal back a couple of seconds later, but see, at that point, if I could encapsulate that moment when the second goal went in, and just the hugs and the sheer euphoria of it all, that for me sums up how good that weekend was. That bit, you could bottle it, you'd be a millionaire.
There was like
Absolute millionaire.
a sliding doors moment. I don't know if that's the right thing to say or whatever, but I remember us sitting at Livingston for that 10-minute period where Livingston turned into 2009 Barcelona and absolutely battered us. And Jason Holt caught one perfectly, heading straight to the top corner. We were right behind it. We were perfect angle for when it left his foot. And you just went like that. Oh, fuck, that's miles in. And Craig Gordon tipped it over the bar out of nowhere, like thing with it. And that was exactly the same for Sims. We were right behind it. But for the minute it hit his foot, there was no chance whoever their goalkeeper, I don't know what he's called, whoever he was in goals was saving that. For the minute it left his foot, I think we all started celebrating. Like, you just knew.
No, but that's
that
maybe
in,
not
like,
quite strictly true, because I'm pretty sure you just went, no. And then all of a sudden the net bulges, and it's like, yes!
I like my favourite thing was I thought it was about 4 yards out. And then we seen the replay and was like, he's about fucking 25 yards out.
Oh, absolute worldie, mate.
It was a peach. And again, this is, I suppose, that it's the spoils of war, as they like to say. The victor gets to decide the narrative of how the day went and stuff. But when you show up at Hampden and all you see is maroon and white, I don't even think, other than in the stadium, I don't think I've seen a Hibs fan anywhere. I never seen. We were driving through and I was thinking, never seen a Hibs bus, not seen any Hibs flags. All the way along the motorway were Heart scarves out windows, Heart supporters buses, and that is just like, I know Kev was getting hangweed about it last week and we were talking about being overconfidence or whatever, but like, for a boost from the players' perspective, that must make you feel 10 foot tall, didn't it?
Oh, it was quite a surreal thing. You felt like you were playing one of the Glasgow teams because, as you said, the M8 was just maroon and white. Like, even like the wee villages that we get picked up on, they're usually 50-50 in terms of support. Like, you've never seen anybody out. You've never seen a fan walking down with a scarf around their neck. Like, it was such a weird feeling to have that. So, you've seen some of the boys looking over when they were walking out. Like, I loved. I want to picture myself like ever doing that. That's what you want to see, walking out, see the big signs, then turn to your right and see a fucking half-empty Hibs stand. That's the dream. That is actually the dream.
I was so excited to slag Hibs, I forgot to. We're not even spoke about our tifo or anything. We'll talk about the Heats tifo in a wee minute, but it was. And again, like, obviously there was Hibs fans there, and there would have been Hibs fans wherever, and I suppose you're only looking at for Hearts fans when you're there. But it's why I said, Kev, last week, as much as it wasn't the most important one, but the league game was so important for setting the narrative of the semi-final. If they'd came to Tynecastle and won, they'd have sold 5,000 more tickets. They might have sold 1,000, 2,000 more tickets. You know, they might have got in the stadium earlier. They might have been in the streets earlier. There'd have been more singing, more colour, all that sort of stuff. But the fact that we didn't just beat them, but we put a marker down and beat them comfortably, that killed them. It sucked the life out of their season, puts pressure on Maloney, puts pressure on the players, and gives us that pure boost where you just know as soon as you walk in the stadium, it's. And we'll talk about Hibs because the difference in mentalities is these last couple of days alone testify as to why we say we're the big team, because our attitudes are different. But what was your feeling going to the game, Kev?
Well, you know my feeling going to the game, because I didn't like the fact that a number of us were overconfident. I'm unfortunate enough to have followed Hearts long enough to understand that every now and again we fuck it up. But you're right. You know, the marker had been set in the league game, and even Maloney himself came out and said that we had a totally different mentality in the league game. We wanted it more. We showed a greater sort of physical presence in the game at Tynecastle, and in my opinion, I think they came out wanting to try and level the playing field a little bit by being, in my opinion, a little bit overzealous with some of their challenges, especially the one on Barry Mackay inside the first 7 or 8 minutes. The boy actually, if you watch it back, the boy could have actually gone for that particular challenge because his foot's well off the ground before, when he hits Mackay. So I think they wanted to set a marker at that point, and that was the way they wanted to play the game. But what you did find was that a little bit of class just shone out, and that bit of class was effectively the layoff for Sibs' goal and the dummy run that Barry Mackay made, because everybody expected a shot to come in right after it, but that didn't happen, did it?
That's true. And look, I get that. We'll talk about the game in terms of how it flowed and things that happened and stuff, but just before, like we spoke about there, even just we were obviously had to be in the stadium pretty early to get the Zal flag in, etc. And it was like that Hearts end. If you're a Hearts player, it's no just like it's no families on a day out. It's no that it's a demanding and expecting crowd. If you know what I mean. It was confident, but and I think that plays massively on the players. Like, do you know what I mean? Like Hibs after it talked about how proud they were and all that sort of stuff. If we'd lost 2-1, not a single Hearts player, fan, manager would have been saying, I was proud of the performance or whatever. It doesn't matter what happens in these games. Win and pick your own narrative. That is pretty much our mentality, and that's the difference between the both of us, isn't it, Ando?
100%. Exactly that. It's like the fact that we did win. Nielsen can come out and say whatever he wants, because given the narrative of what happened to the week beforehand as well, it's like superbly important. Because even then, it's like we even seen shades of that last week, because he was like played it down. This is all about obviously the victory last week was what it was, but he played it down, and he's like, right, this is all to do with this game on Saturday. And then after you've put, essentially what he's done is put all his eggs in one basket. And the fact that he's come out still with that basket full of eggs, at the end of it is just like, yes, okay, that's it. Can say whatever I want now. And about controlling the narrative, you're absolutely right. The narrative is we are the fucking best team ever.
Yeah, it's just those things comes with confidence. Do you know what I mean? And that's I wrote, I think it was in the Celtic matchday programme before the home game, that this is the first team or Hearts team that I've felt like I've really liked or felt connected to. 2012's team will always be legend because of the manner in which they won the cup. That is true. But when you look through that team, Jamie Hamill played a part in it, Mehdi Taoul, all these types of guys. They're not Hearts legends. Like I didn't have anything in. There's a few in there. McGowan, Ian Black had a brilliant day, but then obviously goes to Rangers after it. Craig Beattie was only here for nine games. Obviously Rudy, he takes care of himself or whatever. But like when you look at '98, the connection that we had with that team, the management, all that sort of stuff. Same with 2006, the players, that special one-off. We'll never see these types of players again. This Hearts side that we have right now has felt like that. Like they're all, when you look back to '98, Cameron, McCann, fucking Weir, Naismith, all these guys in the prime, heading to the best years in their career. Stevie Fulton hitting his peak, all that sort of stuff, and that's what it feels like here. You look at Kingsley, look at Halkett, look at Mackay, look at Boyce, look at Sims. All these guys are like, it's not their last season with us. They're literally only going to get better, and it feels like something special is brewing with this team. And I think Saturday emphasised all of its best qualities. So we'll talk about the game and that as well. But just there, wanted to talk about how good the display looked. It was class, wasn't it?
Right.
Yep, looked brilliant.
Obviously, you guys wouldn't have seen it as much as I did because I was sitting from the couch, but on the telly it did look brilliant. And then they compared it to the Hibs end, and it was just night and day.
My arse was making buttons though, because right up until about like the amount of people that were round about us that hadn't even like unfurled their bit of tifo that was on their seat or whatever, and I was like, oh no man, this is going to look so embarrassing when the team comes out and
a couple of rows in front of us try to take lines through it. It's like, right, is this some sort of massive fucking thing that's happened? It's like I know I'm fucking making a joke, but I'm not really. But that is just how fucking mental the day was. And then all of a sudden, it's like, cause I can remember, like, when we held it all up, I was standing there and Corbett's like, this is going to be fucking shit. It's going to be pish. This is just total shit. I'm like, genuinely, isn't it? So, we like, from my angle, if I'd moved my hand, I could look across and see a good portion of it over on my right hand side. I was like, mate, it looks fucking class for here. Like, it genuinely does look class. It was one of those things that, with no coordination or no choreography, everybody just knew that, like, a couple of guys stand up, put the stuff up, and then the whole end just followed suit. I've seen the results on TV. Pictures from the TV. Looks absolutely class. So
it was that realisation when I was standing there where I thought, fuck it, we know what to do. Like, it was us that did it, but there's fucking 23,000 other people here. And I'm like, we think we did one tweet or something 2 days ago to say, if you've got something in your seat, hold it up. And I was like, oh no, we're going to have to go around and tell everybody what to do, hold it up. But it did look class, and thanks to...
You could have just told Shanks today. He was halfway around the fucking stadium anyway.
He was in box 7 or whatever they're called. He was in the wrong end.
What I didn't factor in was I was going to get scurried in the heat 10 times for the match with bits of paper getting chucked from behind me.
That was just us. Us trying to knock
you take that though, eh? Take that.
It was good. It looked class, and we're obviously, thanks to Hearts for funding it, and thanks to the youth teams at Hearts for putting it out, because I know that it was a bollock trying to get it all set up and in the right place. We are working on a tifo for the final. I think it would be pretty fitting if we could do something for Zal and Rixon, with it being the first cup final that we've been in with fans and stuff like that. But obviously that's going to have to take a tie-in with both clubs, so we'll wait and see. I've already had to reach out and speak to the Union Bears to see what their plans are, so they're going to talk it through and get back to us to see about what we can potentially do to honour the memories of both the guys. But if we do, and when we do get something organised, obviously we'll put it on Twitter, and would appreciate if everybody shares it around. We might even print off wee flyers for instructions as to what to do this time, so I didn't have an absolute panic attack when I get into the stadium.
You still have a panic attack.
I will, but
I wasn't going to say this, but I'm going to say it anyway. To hell with all the armchair naysayers on Jambo's kickback that said it would be shite. Right, you know what? Have a look at the pictures, realise how much of a fucking wank you've been, and just get on board next time.
But
Stop
to be
being a
fair,
dick.
everybody did get on board, which was good, and everybody appreciated how good it looked. So that was decent. Right, so the game itself, obviously, Hearts stuck with the same team that won the derby the week previous. Brads, was there any shocks or anything in there, or is that what you would have done?
As I said before, I said last week, I would have changed Halliday, and I think that was obvious as well to see that he wasn't actually 100%. Obviously, he hobbled off last week, and I know you know what he's like. He would have given anything. He would have lied to the physios, he would have lied to the doctors, he would have lied to the coaching staff and said that he was 100% fit because he would have wanted to play. But he didn't look his sharpest, and I think his first couple of challenges it showed.
He said on Open Goal today that he was injured, or he took painkilling injections for the derby at Tynecastle, and it kicked in perfectly and never really felt it until he got a bang later on, which forced him off. But he said that he pretty much felt it the whole time, and then obviously after 2 minutes he got a bang on it and went down and was like, basically said, I'm not going off after 2 minutes at Hampden. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, I've had this experience before with Rangers or whatever, and kind of played on, but like you said, he was quite clearly playing with an injury type thing. Kev, it's a narrative that only seems to be, and again, the guys on Open Goal spoke about it today, but it seemed to be a narrative that only Hibs were allowed to talk about, was their injuries and their growing injuries. If you look through us, we've got Michael Smith, John Souttar, Cammy Devlin, who is now 100% fit. You've got Benny, you've got Halliday, all carrying injuries. Then in the actual game itself, you've got Halkett goes off on a stretcher, Kingsley have to go off, Halliday goes off. Someone at the end as well, was it Sims or something? Did he take a knock, or was it Haring? Somebody again took a knock towards the end and was struggling as well. And it just shows you the sort of the mentality of the football club in it, because none of the build-up was about players that were missing for Hearts. You know, it was the guys that are there that come in, do a job for us, and I thought that was absolutely clear to see on Saturday as well.
Well, that's been the thing, and we mentioned it earlier in the season, is that we've now got a squad together where if one player does go out from injury or even suspension, then the next person who comes in, and actually it's not just about filling the space in the team. He actually brings something to the team, maybe slightly different from the player that's injured, but you know that you're not going to lose anything from the quality element. I will say though that McAnef, when he did come on, he proved he's not maybe a central midfielder when he came on for Halliday, and that's maybe something that we can touch on.
Almost got a peachy on goal for about 40 yards.
He did that.
His first touch.
I was thankfully not at the right angle to see how close that was, but I've seen it back, and it was too close to mention.
It was too close for comfort. That, like, I was like, what the fuck are you doing?
Did not feel comfortable with him in the central position. But I think that goes to show that Devlin maybe wasn't again 100% fit to be able to actually replace Halliday in that position of central midfield. So we asked McAnef to do a job, and yes, he did do a job, but maybe not as confidently as Halliday, or had we had Benny fully fit, would have been Benny's ideal position, if you know what I mean.
And I think that for me at the weekend there kind of highlighted, one, how good our squad is. It highlighted how good Benny and Devlin have been, but also highlights just how good Haring and Halliday have been, considering that probably the two of them would be considered second choice centre midfielders, if you know what I mean, and they've handled that no problem at all. But you noticed the second half especially, like we've said there, McAnef's came on because Devlin's clearly not fit for a game of that intensity, and I felt that from that moment, I thought Haring and McAneff in the middle of the park probably struggled to deal with it, but they did enough, didn't they? They never, as much as sort of Hibs had more of the ball kind of, or whatever in the second half, they never really caused us hundreds and hundreds of issues. But anyway, we'll talk about the first half. Tam, you obviously weren't there. You've had a chance to watch it back. What was your sort of initial thoughts on the first half?
I thought, obviously, my thoughts before the game. I just wanted them to start brighter. Obviously, start early, and they
Just
took that on
play
board. The boys listened. They listened. Nah, but it was that game was frantic though. Like before the first goal though, it was just a bit of a scrappy game. There wasn't really any sort of clear-cut chances or anything. And then, how bad must you feel if you're Ellis Sims? You score an absolute world-class goal as well, and then you just get overshunned 2 minutes later when Kingsley comes out with his goal. So, absolute peach in that first one.
I think both of them were absolute belters, but again, I know we've said narrative about 1,000 times here, but there is this narrative that, if Craig Gordon doesn't make a wonder save, it's 2 each, and if Joe O'Neill doesn't get sent off, it's 2 each. Well, actually, if Barry Mackay doesn't get smashed in the Achilles in 6 minutes or whatever, then, he has a brighter game. If Liam Boyce fucking doesn't fall over his feet in the first minute with his cutback, where he knocked out, it was literally straight for centre. He gets up the park, he's got an opportunity to cut it back. I don't know what he does, trips out his feet and knocks out for a big kick. He's then put through with a simple cutback for Sims, makes an arse of it and fucks it out the park. If Toby Sibic puts the ball out for a corner or puts it out for a fucking throw in or whatever, Hearts win that game 3, 4, 5-0 because it was frantic, it was sloppy Ando to begin with, but that you could sense that Hearts were growing into that game. You could sense that we'd started to take control. We were getting them in the spaces where we wanted to be. We were causing them problems. And something that hasn't been spoke about was there was at least 2 clear onside for Ellis Sims where he'd beat the offside trap and was sent into the channel and it was called back. Do you know what I mean? So,
aye.
They're just lazy narratives from Hibs in that point of view, innit?
There was a couple of different parts to that. It's like, yes, lazy narratives from Hibs, but then the officials absolutely, you're absolutely correct. Well, and we'll probably come on to it later on. Is that the officials? Fair enough, they got the red card decision right, but there could have been probably potentially another 2 red cards for Hibs if we're being sort of scrutinising them by the absolute letter of the law. I think the point we are talking about, folk being lazy or wasteful, that definitely is a thing. There was a couple of opportunities throughout the game that warranted better finishing. Even in the second half, when Sims has he dances about with the ball right in front of whatever their goalkeeper's name is. Was it Macy that was playing on Saturday? I'm not even sure. And the boys the boys parts that you've already spoken about. It's like if you add all these things up, it could have been 4 or 5 or 6, but it's just one of these things. On balance, it was still a good game. We done enough to absolutely ease past them. I don't think at any point we were ever in any serious danger. And you know what? I'm absolutely fine with that. Line drawn. You're in the gutter. Let's move on.
Brad's Ellis Sims. We've spoke about him before, but everything about him on Saturday was brilliant, wasn't it? His goal is superb, and the thing that's not spoke about, Barry Mackay's chest control is outrageous for the pass. It'll go because it's Barry Mackay and that's what he does, but his touch before he lays the ball into him is superb because it's a tackle. It's pure fired into him. He takes it down on his chest, slides it into Sims, perfect, and you talk us through that finish, man.
Do you know what? I love Kingsley's goal, but I think Sims is actually a harder goal to finish, and the ball's going away from him, so it's not coming
Of
towards
course
him. It's harder to generate power, and he's to absolutely smash it and have that much control and accuracy is unbelievable. It's honestly unbelievable. And as you said, we were at the perfect angle to watch it. Like, as soon as it left his boot, you knew that it was bending around Macy, and it's you can watch it time and time again. We've seen him already in early stages. You kind of thought this guy's a bit of a big hoodie to start off with, but see that bigger pitch at Hampden absolutely suited him. His runs were unbelievable. He was creating so much space. He looked more confident. And we've been crying out for this while. I'd rather have a striker and we gave credit to Andy Halliday for this last week. I want boys having shots. I don't care if they miss 20, 30 shots a game.
Aye.
Keep having those pops, keep having those attempts, because eventually it will come off. And something like that, to his credit, in a big occasion, arguably our biggest game of the year, regardless of the final, that was something special.
And I think, and we've seen both sides of Ellis Sims. I think where his goal is everything that's good about him. Do you know what I mean? Great run, great vision. His goal and his build-up play in the setup of Andy Halliday's goal last week as well. Strength, power, all that sort of stuff. Laces through it, bursts the net. Then on the flip side, it's the bit where he thinks he's Barry Mackay. Tries to step overs, tries to cut inside, tries to do all that, and gets himself tied in knots. And it's like when he learns to play the game, he's 23. This is his first ever season playing professional, as in first team football, no reserves, all that sort of stuff at a decent standard. When he learns that aspect of the game, he looks like he could be top draw, can't he?
Oh, 100%. It's like you've made the absolute perfect comparison there. You got Barry, who's wee. He's like Barry Mackay's like a wee fighter jet. It's just like fucking like right in a bit amongst things, where Ellis Sims is a little bit more of a cart horse or a bit more of a battering ram. It's like you seen the way he held the ball up against the Hibs a week previous to Saturday, and then obviously he just got the laces through that one on Saturday and absolutely just about burst the net with it. It's like there are two completely different styles, and I think Sims, to your point, 100% agree with you. He needs to realise that he's not the precision cutting tool, right? He's probably a little bit more of the battering ram, and we need to see more of that from him, I think, going forward if he's going to stay at the club.
Aye, Kev, the thing, it's not a negative, I would say, but obviously Liam Boyce goals have dried up since Ellis Sims has came. He's obviously playing in a different position or whatever, but there was a couple of moments on Saturday where Boyce is phenomenal, right? Still one of our best players, absolutely, and he plays that role superbly well. His runs, it's constant, never stopping, all that sort of stuff. His link-up play is absolutely second to none. But again, you've got the couple of chances that we spoke about, one the first, then the cutback, and then obviously he's put through the opportunity to make it 3-1, the stroke of half time. There's that aspect of Boyce's game is something that if we can get them both firing and in form, like that's going to be massive for next season if we can keep Sims in it.
It's going to be a huge element to another successful season if we can get both of them firing on all cylinders. I think I go back to what Ando said probably 2-3 weeks ago, and Sims has maybe got a little bit of it in him as well, is stop trying to actually be, clever. Just be instinctive, as we've found Boyce, when he's instinctive, doesn't have time to think about it. He actually usually gets his shots off. They're usually on target. And X amount, no doubt, Ando's probably got the percentage value. X percentage are shots that actually hit the back of the net. And if you look back at that...
Shut up, man. Shut up. Really? This is without sound effects.
He's still moving as well.
Right.
Fuck off.
That's a Kev remix.
But that's not even a special effect, man. That's genuine. Yeah, Kev, you're right. It's
Don't know what happened.
74.5% is the stat you were after.
Thanks very much, mate. I just thought I'd have a break there just so you could get that particular start ready for me.
We were all waiting for the beat to drop, man.
I was waiting for him to go for na.
Aye, but he's like you said, if I think number one priority now, and I think there's those conversations become easier for Hearts with Ellis Sims now that we're guaranteed 8 games in Europe next year. Like, you take your choice and say, right, would you go back to Everton, sit in the stand, to potentially knock you back out on loan to somewhere, League 1, League 2? Would you come here and play actual European football, plus play in a league that you're becoming familiar with, you're scoring goals, you're learning your trade type thing? Do you know what I mean? Like, the sort of, we hold all the aces, so to speak, in that sense when it comes to Ellis Sims and attracting him to the football club, which is true, which can only be a great thing. And like you said, the love affair that they'll have if they manage to go on and make themselves legends and heroes if they win the cup as well. You know, we all know we've been there, we've been in the street parades, we've been in Edinburgh when there's 300, 400,000 people there. Like, to talk about that for us is dead easy because we were there, we've seen it. But for a player that's not from here, doesn't support Hearts, has never been here, that's the type of stuff that's why Rudi Scaccio from Czech Republic still comes back here. It's why Paulo Sergio still talks about us and talks to us. Do you know what I mean? It's why these people fall in love with the football club. So it could be.
I think that scares me though. We're not just selling the club to him, we're selling him to others with such good performances, man. There'll be other clubs looking at him thinking, maybe a wee bit cash, we've got that player.
Thanks, Tom. Cheers.
I know what you're thinking. You're thinking what Robbie Nielsen said in his post-match comments, which is, well, we'll try to keep him under the radar, but with performances like that, it's kind of hard.
But you've also got to factor in as well this pure ignorance outside of Scotland. So you've got to say, right, we can take great up here. Celtic, he doesn't look like the type of player that would get a game for Celtic in terms of the way they like to play under Postecoglou, and Rangers won't have the money to buy him directly from Everton. So, and then like you said, Jen, you've got to take a point as, well, is someone else going to swoop in based on the fact that he scored 7 goals in Scotland in half a season? Do you know what I mean? So as much as it is, like, I understand why Robbie's saying it, I still think Hearts hold all the aces when it comes to that, because no one really other than Everton under 23's manager down south probably even gives a shit what Ellis Sims is doing up here, if I'm being brutally honest.
Let's be honest, while it has been brilliant, like what he's delivered has been probably like slightly above our slightly above expectation. It's one of those things. It's like he's not actually set the heather on fire. It's like there's so many games where he could have been so much fucking better, but just hasn't been. So you know what? I don't think we're at the position where we need to worry where he's put himself in the shop window just yet. Albeit he's scored an absolute worldie on Saturday, and he's had a couple of good performances, a couple of good goals. You know what? Glad he's in the team. Let's not draw away from that. But he's still not a guy that we're going to be selling to Barcelona anytime soon.
No, I think Everton are going to have to look at this as he's never going to play for Everton first team. Let's be honest here. Okay.
Realistically, no. You're right.
They're going to have to look at him as a future sellable asset. So you're right, Tam. Somebody like Middlesbrough might go, well, Hearts are only going to pay 30% of his wages, but they're offering to pay 60. Yeah, we could take that money. Or does he potentially have the opportunity to play European football, top flight Scottish football, and we actually develop him as a more financially sellable asset? So I think what Corbett's saying, but I think we're in a more favourable position to keep him than a higher percentage loan kind of transfer fee if you want.
To be fair, I doubt he's on massive wages as well. That might not even factor into it. So you have sold me, boys. We hold all the cards.
Exactly. and I think that's what you're buying. Whatever. Look, we've had it before. It's a gamble when you bring someone from a Premiership side up here on loan. It's a gamble. Like you could get somebody that's brilliant. You could get somebody that's rubbish. These are players that are playing youth team football or whatever in front of empty stadiums, where they're in academy life and all that sort of stuff, where they're not playing, and I hate to coin that phrase, men's football, all that sort of stuff, and they come up here, they either will or they do great. So I think the potential for Sims is massive, if you know what I mean, from what we've seen from him. Compare him to Ben Woodburn, for example. I have a similar situation in what they've delivered for us and what they've achieved. The comparison fixes itself, doesn't it?
Sorry, but I think the only issue that you might have is if Everton were to get relegated, because then they will look to sell off guys like Calvert-Lewin, Richarlison, or these kind of players that they've got. I don't know if those players would be interested in staying in the Championship if Everton were to get relegated, and then they might think about Sims, as an option. But that's the only thing.
But
to that exact point, Kev, the reason they'll keep, they would recall players like him is they'll sell off all their major saleable assets so they can get money. They're not going to sell off Sims because, let's be honest, realistically, he's not worth that much. They'll bring him back into the fold and use him.
What I was getting at, though, Ando, is the fact that we won't get him next season for another 12-month loan because of that fact.
Are you fucking joking? We're in Europa League. The whatever it's called, the Conference League. We've got about 7 million.
We're in the Champions League.
We've got £7 million coming our way. We're bigger than Everton. Fuck them.
But then, look, I think we'll not be Mr. Positive again. I think if you're Frank Lampard and you keep that job and you get Everton relegated, you're not playing you're not playing a 23-year-old striker that's never scored for Everton up front as your guy to bring you back to the Premier League. They will literally have to bounce back or you're sacked. Do you know what I mean? They're not going to put their eggs in that basket. So, but anyway, on Saturday, he was absolutely worthy of his Man of the Match award. I thought he was absolutely superb, considering he played up front by himself, pretty much. He didn't just hold the ball up, and he's a brilliant out ball anyway, but he didn't just hold the ball up. He ran the channels, he linked well, he ragdolled Ryan Porteous and Hanlon and whatever the fucking McGinn is that plays with him. They literally could not handle his presence, and there's an absolute brilliant angle of Sims's shot where it's looking at him and you can see a Hibs fan in the background. Before it's even left, his foot goes like that straight away, and then Porteous is like, because he's fucking nowhere near him as he absolutely leathers it top bag. So that's 16 minutes gone, absolute carnage. Then we again get to witness Stephen Kingsley putting on a show. Craig Gordon will get all of the plaudits, as will Barry Mackay as being our players of the year and all that sort of stuff. Craig Halkett is your sort of up and most improved, unsung hero type guy. Stephen Kingsley is absolutely in the conversations for the best player that we have, because he's played left back, left wing back, he's now playing left centre half, and none of them make him look anything other than fucking phenomenal.
Can't disagree.
Yep. Good. Let's move on then.
Rolls Royce.
I know I was eating Easter egg there, but I was going to say, vote for player of the season. Too early for that?
Well, we'll do that because that changes if we've got cup winner medals. Do you know what I mean? Let's wait and see who scores the winner. Let's wait and see who wins.
I'm just saying now that it's him. Unless Boyce gets another 5 goals.
We joke.
Sorry, Corbett. I tell you what I'm loving is the wee videos of his goal, like from the fan videos now. It's now become like Bobby Carlos's. It's getting wider and wider from the goal that comes back in. Mate, I would tell my grandkids they went out the park and came back.
Went with Shanks in the Hibs end.
Hit Shanks and came back in.
My favourite thing is the video where the guy accidentally hits the camera back to him, and it's just this. It's like, oh my god, and I'm like, what the fuck is going on? Stephen Kingsley shared it saying, I love this video. It's literally, it's class.
There's a wee video and it's pinning in the Hibs end, and one of the wee boys like that. Wait, oh fuck.
There's the other video is that Hungarian vlogger guy, and he's literally like, this is the greatest goal I've ever seen in the flesh. But it was top drawer. And we joke and laugh about it all the time. We say before if we get a free kick within 25 yards, just announce goal because Kingsley will score type thing. But it was just perfect. And again, I like the fact that they've went for something a bit different. They said they'd been working on it, but for Barry Mackay for the other side. And Kingsley just thought, this is going to be perfect for me on the left foot, and it's brilliant. I love the fact that the Hibs ball jumps when it's quite clearly no a shot. Like even in the stadium, I knew that he wasn't shooting, but it's just a brilliant free kick, innit?
I like how those comments about no practice, and it just knows that Stephen Kingsley can pull that off in his sleep. Like, it's just like, oh, we didn't need to practice it for me. I just know I can do that.
It was superb, wasn't it, Ando?
Aye, Nielsen's reaction as well, because it's like you can see him through the camera, he's running down, like pointing to him as that,
right,
or whatever it was he does, are fucking brilliant. But then the only one thing, look at the size of the boys that are in the Hibs war. You have a look at that. They're all like the three of the shortest folk that they have on the field are in that wall. It's like boys is just standing there like real. You could probably actually just bang this out of their head, but nah, fuck it. We've worked on it in training anyway. Lays it off to him. Boom. There you go. There was no point. There was absolutely no point. It was like three of the smallest men in the park for them in that wall. Makes absolutely no sense whatsoever. However, don't take away from Kingsley. Obviously, it has to strike that ball twice, and then it's absolutely brilliant. Phenomenal.
I know it's top of your head stuff and round the table, but can you think of a better Hearts goal at Hampden? Not talking about importance or anything like that, just actual quality strike.
Hartley's free kick was up there for being clever.
That was more the keeper though, wasn't it?
That was Zibby, wasn't
it? I think from a technical point of view, I think I like Sims' goal 5 minutes earlier, but outside of that day, outside of Saturday, no. And
John Cohins was quite good in '96, wasn't it, Kev?
Aye, the sort of half volley over Billy Thompson, I think, was the goalkeeper for Dundee United at the time. It was a nice hit, but both of those goals on Saturday eclipse JC's goal in my opinion. I don't think I've seen any goals better than.
I was talking about the one in the 5-1 final.
All right, sorry, I think
quite a decent hang with it, and obviously it goes past Gorham, doesn't it? So, you're right. Stephen Kingsley's is the best, or Sims and Kingsley's are the two best goals.
I would be interested to see what would come out of an actual little survey or little link on Twitter as to which the best goal on Saturday. Was it Sims? Was it Kingsley's? And let the rest of the public decide.
We've already decided it was Sims and Kingsley, and no others need apply.
You should put that on your Twitter, Kev. It might
fucking liven it up.
I didn't have enough followers. I've only got a mere few hundred followers, unlike a certain other account, Tam.
Aye. Okay. See if you can get some free rum out of it, or whatever it is you like to do. So, those, again, we talk about moments in games that turn things. And I actually thought when Sibic went to the middle of the centre back, like middle of the back three, thought he played really well, settled into it. We're 2-0 up, 21 minutes gone. They're literally streaming to the exits. The ball, I don't know if he's trying to jockey it out. I don't know what he was trying to do. You put it out for a corner, we deal with the corner, or you knock it into the stand type thing. That game genuinely ends 2-3, 4-0 for me. I think that if they don't score immediately after that, Hearts go on to win that game quite comfortably.
Agree. Yeah, agree. Although there is I don't know if anybody noticed it, there's actually a push from Stevenson. I know it still makes no difference. Sibic's got to deal with it. You know what I mean? It's nothing in it. But
don't know what you're talking about, Kev. Shut up.
Go back and watch it.
It's no.
First thing you thought though is like junior, like as a kid football, kick it out the park.
Aye. And look, I get it. It's you kick it out the park and they get a throw in and score for it anyway. It's the same thing. But I just think at that moment, it's probably just a bit of inexperience. Maybe a bit rustiness. He has looked a bit rusty in the sort of right hand side of the back three type thing. It's maybe just, like you said, he'll learn from it, because I think if you take your chances with the corner, with the height we have, with Craig Gordon behind you, all that sort of stuff, and you deal with that better. I just didn't see that game going any how Hibs go back in or get back into the game at that point. Obviously they do score, then obviously the game frantic from there to there without any real clear-cut chances really, until Boyce obviously wins again. Good work for Sims, winning the initial header and then fighting for the loose ball type thing. It falls to Boyce and he drags it wide there. And then I suppose we'll talk about the second half. The second half was as back to the wall as you could potentially get, win it, Brads.
Yeah, and like we've seen it, we've all watched football before. We know what 10 men can do to a team, especially when you're 2 down or 1 down. They've got nothing to lose, and it can go 2 ways. You can either chuck everything at it and it works for you, like Hibs did, or you can chuck everything at it and you get absolutely turned over. Again, Hibs are going on about how proud they are of how they played. I didn't actually think Hibs played that well. I thought Hearts were a bit passive, a bit shit. They looked nervous, and rightly so. They've got so much on the line. There's so much there, and it's a big occasion for a lot of players. So I get why people were nervous and they didn't want to make mistakes. We should have turned them over. We didn't, but Hibs didn't play brilliant. They didn't play brilliant at all, and they didn't dominate the play. They didn't, as Tam McManus said, didn't batter Hearts at all. It was just a scrappy game where nobody could really get a foothold. I
felt like what sucked the life out of us was the fact that, you know, Mackay takes a sore one, it impacts him, his level drops noticeably, because you're thinking, right, well, if he's injured and has to go off, who do we bring on? Then you've got Halliday, who's had to go off. Then you have quite a serious injury to Craig Halkett. You could tell that Halkett was a bad one straight away. Reaction to Halkett, but reaction to Craig Gordon instantly, you know, frantically waving to come get the physios and stuff on. That obviously plays an impact. Then Stephen Kingsley has to go off as well. You're looking at, like, that sucks the life out of any team, and then it's just natural to drop 10 yards because you think, actually, we've got Europe, we've got a cup final, it's a derby. We didn't want to be that team that is fucking 2-1 up and fucks it up and loses, and all the connotations that come with that. So again, I'm with you, Brad's as well at the time. I don't think Hibs battered us. I just think Hearts dropped 10 yards, and they could have had 9 men and should have had 9 men, which we'll come on to in a second. But they're always going to go for it. They get fuck all else to lose, Ando.
I'd not. Well, I've just taken my hands down, because you've pretty just encapsulated it there. I think from the point where the red card was issued, we were protective. That's all that was happening there. Is it maybe made Hibs look better than they actually were? That's all I was going to add. That's it.
Aye. So the only noticeable thing to talk about in the second half is something that it's boring speaking about now, innit? Because we've spoke about it about 1,000 times or something. But Craig Gordon, yet again, with an unbelievable save at Hampden. Brad's at a time, do you think it was in? Do you think he saved it? Or what was your initial thoughts at it?
Well, I was saying to Kev earlier, actually, from where we were, I actually thought he'd just gone straight off the post and into his hands. I didn't realise he got fingertips to it. It wasn't until watching it back later on I realised how good a save it. It's bread and butter for him. But for anybody else,
I did like Nielsen's comments like that said that pretty much after the game was class.
For everybody else in the league, that's a big save. For him, he'll be annoyed that it hit the post, probably.
Yeah, he wanted to just to push it straight wide.
Aye.
My favourite thing of the weekend was, and again, I don't know if this is like fan culture or whatever, because it's all wee wanks and wee boys that are like 15 and 16 or whatever, and think because they play a drum and set a flare off that they've had an amazing day out. But someone actually shared a video for the Hibs end saying, "This is the moment we thought we did it," or something like that. What the fuck is wrong with
history
you,
repeating itself?
History repeated, that's what it was. Fucking hell.
What is wrong with you, man? You do know that we can see that. Like, you understand? It's not a group chat. Like, you literally sent a video of our goalkeeper making a save
And
then
the fact they all cheered.
make it an absolute to yourself. Absolutely superb. The last thing we talk about is ref watch. Dead easy to say that the ref was terrible. He was terrible for both teams, I thought. Ando alluded to it already. Games are won and lost in moments. If you're a Hibs fan, Joe Newell, you think, what the fuck are you doing? You're on a booking already. You don't need to make that challenge. Stupid. They go down to 10 men. But the one is, if the referee or the linesman sees any of the Campbell challenge, how between them can decide that is only a yellow card? Do you know what I mean? I can't make up my mind if it was the reaction after it, because the ref got 2 or 3 minutes to contemplate, and you could see him looking over at the linesman, and he was clearly talking to the linesman and all that sort of stuff, and then to decide that challenge was a booking is, again, that it can only be a guess as to what's happened, isn't it?
Sorry, Tam, on you go.
I think it's purely the fact that Barry Mackay jumps out the way. If he doesn't jump, he's broken his leg straight away. But because there's not been that much contact, that's the only reason I can think they've not given a red card.
It was a shocker at the time for the other side of the stadium how the ref sees any of it and doesn't think that that's a red is worrying, especially when the day we've announced that we're going to get VAR.
What we've got to take out of that whole situation is that Campbell, as Tam said, if he doesn't jump out of the way, he's broken Barry Mackay's leg. It's a leg-breaking challenge, potentially a career-ending challenge. Like, we know how bad breaks can be. He gets the same punishment as Peter Haran for getting upset about that challenge. He gets a yellow card. There's no justification there. Haran doesn't push anybody, doesn't shove anybody. He just shouts at the player and gets a booking for it. Whereas Campbell, with a dangerous challenge, gets a booking for it as well. There's no
consistency or that.
No, there's no consistency at all. And again, we've got to look at another side. Like, Taylor Moore picks up and ragdolls Porteous twice. And then gets, it's fucking funny, like, but
it's amazing.
I get it as well. But I was going to talk about Taylor Moore as well, how he hasn't seen red. I think he was on a booking when he did that, wasn't he?
It was, aye.
So, like, that was crazy. I also thought, when you're thinking about VAR, I think the Joe Newell on Craig Gordon in the opening 5 minutes is naughty. Like, I think he knows what he's doing. If you look at the opposite one from last week with Boyce and the keeper, Boyce quite clearly pulls out before he makes contact with the goalkeeper. Gordon quite clearly has the ball miles before Newell gets there, and Newell still goes after him type thing. I thought that was a bit naughty. But again, again, after the Old Firm as well on Sunday, everybody talking about Bobby Madden, the refs were just, I don't think they could control any of the games, if I was being honest. There was some really pretty suspect decisions right across the board, like. Right.
Especially for Bobby Madden, not yellow card in Arfield in the Old Firm game for manhandling.
For choke slamming him. I know, but
absolutely hilarious. I need to see more of that week in, week out, please.
Football players choke slamming refs, please. That's what we want. Then obviously we just talk about scenes at the end because there's nothing else really happened in the game. Ellis Sims had a shot that, again, I think if Barry Mackay, I don't know, Boyce and Mackay were a bit off it in terms of Saturday. I thought that Mackay was a bit lazy with the follow-up. I can't remember if it's McGinn or if it's Hanlon, but they're sliding way before it gets to Mackay. You could have took a touch, you could have slid it to Boyce, you could have took it round him or whatever. I just thought it was a bit lazy to just run up and rattle it, if you know what I mean. Like, I thought he could have made a bit of a
He's maybe just trying to keep up with the standards of the previous 2 goals that we'd scored.
Aye, that's true. Maybe thought, I know, I can't score a tap in here, like, that'll be embarrassing for us. We anything else catch your eye in the 90 that any players you wanted to talk about? I don't think we were anywhere near our best, but I thought everybody was pretty solid again. I was pretty impressed with Atkinson. I think he's grown into that role. He offers us a real good attacking threat. I thought McAneff was probably the only player that came on that he just looked a bit lost, if I was being honest. He was kind of running around. His first 8 touches were fucking knocking the ball towards our goal. I'm like, what are you doing? He had the own goal thing, then he had a header as well, and I was like, where are you going? Like, go the other way.
Do you know what? I'm going to say fair play to Taylor Moore.
Yep.
He came on, and we all looked at each other like, oh, Civic's gone centre back, and he's gone on the other side of him. And actually, by going forward, he allowed Civic to have a bit of pressure off him, and he actually went forward well. He was big, he was physical, he got stuck into the game, so I actually thought he settled that defensive nerves when Halkett came off.
And in two derbies, he's did 2 things that I've absolutely loved. One at Tynecastle, he absolutely wiped out whoever it was in the Wheatfield stand side when he came on, was brilliant. His celebrations of the Kingsley free kick are phenomenal, and then I'm just ragdolling the hardest man in Scottish football about like an empty tracksuit was fucking phenomenal. So Taylor Moore, you get a pat in the back, absolutely. Right, the scenes at the end, that's what football's all about, innit? Ando, you can share the picture on Twitter if you want. I think I might have already shared it. I spent probably 45 minutes looking at my shoes with my hood up because I was fucking terrified.
You did.
The elation when Liam Boyce runs it into the corner and John Beaton blows for a full-time whistle, and the realisation again that they've made an absolute at Hampden is brilliant, isn't it?
I have never seen a more bipolar performance from you in all the time that I've fucking known you. It's unbelievable. Like, to be able to like sit there with your head in your hands going, oh, there's no place like home. Oh, I don't like it. And then all of a sudden, it's like who pulled the pin on the Corbett grenade, right? That's exactly what happened. It's like all of a sudden, it's like, bang, here's me, jumping up and just going absolutely apeshit. It was a thing of beauty, and you know what? I'm happy with that. Like, you've paid your money, we've all paid our money. If you want to look at the concrete of Hampden for 90, well, near enough 90 minutes, that's fine. Do that against Rangers, as long as we get the same result. I'll tap you on the shoulder when it's all over and done with, and we'll go fucking mental.
Told you, it's superstition. I'm going to have to do it all the time. I was fucking sweating buckets. I had 2 jumpers on and a big massive jacket, and it was about 90-degree heat. I was like, you had to keep getting me waters like I was running a marathon. It was absolutely brilliant. And my other favourite point is you took a picture of me standing on the seat and made me look like Sean Maloney. I look about 3 foot. I look about like, 3 foot tall.
Because just for everybody out there in listener land, Corbett's actually deceptively tall. He's like 6'2", well, maybe 6'1" and a bit, whatever. And he jumped up, he's standing on the seat in front of me. I was like, fuck, I can't get you all in. It's like you've been compressed down to the size of like a wee fucking boiled tatty, like sitting there like a wee husk in your seat. Then all of a sudden you're this big, massive fucking Statue of Liberty motherfucker, and about 10 foot tall. The only way I could get you in was that like negative zoom thing. So aye, that's why you look like a Sean Maloney.
But it was great fun. That's what football is all about, and your team puts you through the ringer for 90 minutes, and then you get to go home laughing at your rivals. You absolutely can't beat it.
Oh, I literally didn't see the last 8 minutes because I just stood looking at my watch, watching the second hand go down, going, "That's 8 minutes and 15 seconds. Why is it no blowing the whistle?" Didn't watch the game in the slightest.
Honourable mention for Big Bill Corbett. That's Corbett's feather for anybody that's knowing the know. He was the absolute sort of like I don't know. He was just so positive the entire game. Like,
mate, I hate it.
I know it's like. If I looked at Corbett on my left hand side, who's like spewing and there's piss and shit all around him, it's like sitting there looking like some sort of vice-ridden degenerate. Turn round to Big Bill and he's like, "It's all right, man. I have to put up with this shit every week. Don't worry, we're still gonna win. It'll be all good, Ando." I'm like, "I trust in you, Bill. I trust in you." He got us over the line.
We've got to be our yin and yang. He always. I remember after 1 minute 30 seconds of being in the stadium for the 1998 Scottish Cup final, I was like to my dad, "I want to go home. I don't know. This is shite. I want to go home. I don't know what to stay. I don't know what to do." And he's like, "We'll be all right. Come on, you'll love it." and then there we go. So you've got to enjoy it. You've got to enjoy it.
Right.
He's got to make sure that I'm all right. Thoughts on the final quickly? Obviously, we'll build up to the final as and when it comes. But what's your mindset for it? Is it a free hit, genuine opportunity to win the cup? Are you confident? No confident? What's your feelings? We'll go around the table quickly, Brads.
Honestly, I know I'll divide opinion, but I just had my final on Saturday there. I was quite happy with that, so I'm taking against Rangers as a free hit. Just go out, do what you need to do, but it carries, other than a wee bit more financial gain for us, it carries no real incentive other than to lift the cup, because we've got the European spot, we've got the financial gains. I don't know, I think beating Hibs was a big one for me, so free hit against Rangers. We'll get scudded, but fuck it.
Aye, Ando, what's your thoughts?
Bollocks to that free hit, chap. A cup win is a cup win. Like, it doesn't matter who you're playing. You've got the opportunity to win silverware. Our cupboard is kind of bare compared to Rangers and Celtic. This absolutely matters. I think it is something that we should definitely go after. The league games in between now and then, absolute dog shit. No one gives a fuck about them. But no, we have to go out and we have to try and win that cup. We absolutely just have to. End of.
Dan?
Pretty much agreed for me. It was my preferred opponent out of the two of them. I think I would prefer to have played Rangers, and especially if they can get to the Europa League final, that would be fantastic. Get absolutely pumped in the Europa League final, that would be fantastic. And then play us on the Saturday, I would really appreciate that. But just go out there and make it happen. I think it is a free hit in a sense.
Talks, is it?
Pep talks.
Just go win it. Just win it.
Put me in the dressing room before the game. I'll get the boys up for it. Just go and try hard, guys.
I don't know if you've got enough holes for that.
I almost what he said, put me in the changing room and get the boys hard, and I was like, all right, that's a different podcast. That's a different story, isn't it? Kev, your thoughts?
I'm already nervous for it because I want to see us win it. I said on Friday to my nephew, I said to him, I only want to see two victories for the remainder of this season. That's tomorrow, i.e. Saturday there, and the final Saturday of the football season. I can see where Brad's is coming from in regards to the fact of a free hit. I get where he's coming from on that one, but we didn't get these opportunities that often. I know this is our third final in 4 years, and but we've got to really go out there and believe that we can win it. And from that point of view, I know there's going to be a number of people, yourself included, Corbett, who is just going to bombard me with various different stats and various different elements of what has happened in the past and everything else. And I didn't want to talk about it. I didn't want to think about it. So thanks very much for copying me on every single tweet that you've sent out over the last few days.
Ando, what's happening?
We nearly went a full show without Kev saying point of view, but he's fucked it. Just that far short of the finishing line.
Well, actually,
Kev.
And Kev, I fucked it for you anyway, because I actually turned into you for a split second mid podcast and said, from that point of view, it was when I kept saying narrative every second sentence for some strange reason. So there we go. I actually think I'm in both camps. I can understand what you said there, and I think that go into it with the fact, and you can say that it's a free hit, can be a good thing for Hearts. Do you know what I mean? Give it a go. Do you know what I mean? Like, go at them. You've got nothing to lose in terms of, it's a cup final. We've had a great season anyway. Everything that we wanted in terms of the money. That's why Saturday was so important. Hibs win. Not only do they get the bragging rights, but they have the 90-minute opportunity to then not only win a cup, which we said last week, and all the shite that Sean Maloney talks, actually, what he spoke about changing the narrative of a season, was right. If they knocked us out, they get bragging rights, but also if they get the European money and the 8 games in Europe and all that by winning the cup, it changes our season completely. So that's why I thought, like, Saturday was huge. Robbie was really, really bullish. Straight from the final whistle on the 3-1 game, 10% of the job's done. This doesn't matter a fuck. It's next week in the cup that matters, and you could see that. You could see the elation after the game, Robbie, the celebrations with the players and all that sort of stuff. It wasn't just celebrating a derby win; it was basically celebrating, season objectives done and dusted. Now it's a difference. Now it's that. Well, do we change the mentality of the club? Finishing third is great, but finishing third and winning trophies is different. Do you know what I mean? So I'm with you. I think it's a free hit. Saturday was massive. We needed to win that because it's Hearts. You don't lose to Hibs. You don't lose to Hibs at Hampden especially. So, free hit. Go for it. Fuck it. What have we got to lose? Do you know what I mean? Right, speaking of them, we talked about them there. Sean Maloney, sacked already. Here's some stats for you that we can have a wee laugh about. Since 2010, Hibs have had 8 managers. Anybody want to take a guess at how many wins those 8 managers have managed since 2010? 12 years?
8 wins.
6, 8. Anybody else?
This is wins against Hearts, I'm guessing.
Well, aye, why would we
Obviously.
fucking care how many they've beat Partick Thistle?
Okay. I'll go 9 since somebody said 8.
Right. Brad's
What did you say from?
2010.
2010. I'm going to say 7.
7. They've won 10 games in 12
Pretty
years.
far off.
Not too bad. Comparable from us, we've had 19 wins in that time frame. Sean Maloney joins Colin Calderwood. Do you know why? What stat did they share?
Never won a derby.
Never won a derby. There you go. So if you take away Neil Lennon, who won 3 and by far their most successful derby manager, they would have had 7 wins in fucking 12 years. So there you go. Natural order. Craig Levein. Remember you thought that was just a joke. Remember you thought that Craig Levein was just being funny. I believe we have now won 146 derbies to your 86. So I believe we're now 60 wins in front of you, which means that if we play 4 times a season and you win every single one of them, it takes you 12 years to draw level on us, and that's us not winning any. That's fucking pathetic.
Oh, mate,
So-
we're on 152 competitive derby wins.
There you go. There you go. Even more embarrassing for you.
Mm-hmm.
So absolutely get it right up you. Do we care anything about Sean Maloney? Do we want to give any perspective on Hibs and anything like that? Want to touch on differences in mentality, or do we just end it on get it so far up every one of them?
I'm a bit gutted they didn't last longer. That's what I would say, because they
I'm
were
not.
falling apart.
I'm
I
not.
couldn't give a fuck. We've
Well,
just proved there. They've had 8 managers in 12 seasons, and they win 1 in every 4 if they're lucky.
The only
I'm just
the
loving
one
the-
thing I'll finally sign off by saying is they are an absolute fucking mess right now. Who's going to take that job that's going to be worth anything? No one. Right? They're an absolute mess. Line drawn. As you say, natural order restored. See you later. Bye. Done.
Brad skate to Tam McManus to the end of the season.
Fucking yes. I'd love to watch him relegate the club. They love so much.
would be class.
I'm buzzing that the Ron Gordon wheels are coming off at some rate. The nepotism, getting his son in, now that they're all shite players, overpaying players who are absolute dog shit. The fact that he's sacked managers after 19 games. We all know where this is going. We've been down this road before.
Right. Mate, it's brilliant, isn't it?
Having his laddie being in charge of player recruitment or partially involved in player recruitment, who that's a bit like saying just because you played Football Manager makes you qualified to make signing targets for a big club. Sorry, did I say big club? Fuck. Pardon.
Yeah, you did. And we'll end it on this. Today's the 19th of April. 10 days ago, you stupid were singing his name. We've got Sean Maloney. We've got Sean Maloney. Fucking get it right up, every single one of these. Right, see you later, boys. See you at the cup final. Bye.
Good evening.
Catch you later.
Hey, see ya.
God get out.